Today, I'm going to talk about what happens when you discard the narcissist. Hi, I'm Nanette. Welcome back to Narcissism Exposed. So, you've been with a narcissist, and this could include a parent, a sibling, some relative, or a partner, a spouse, or a friend, or as I like to call them, frenemies. And you're in this relationship for any length of time. It could be a year, it could be a few years, or even maybe a few months if it's a partner. It could even be for decades. And the thing that you understand is that there never seems to be any resolution in the issues you bring up with the narcissist. You see the cycle of abuse that you've been through over and over again. It becomes extremely predictable to you. And we're all familiar with what the narcissist craves all the time. They're so empty on the inside that they have to constantly be sucking adulation from people, praise. They have to feel like the superior one in the group or the special one, or everybody has to look to them. They have to be in control at all times. These are I just want you to know this. So many times people go, oh my gosh, they're such strong-minded people. They're really not. They're very actually weak and cowardly. For somebody to try to boss somebody else around to feel powerful, that's a weak person. It takes a strong person to control their own mind. That's right, to exert self-control, self-discipline, self-awareness, and self-regulation. That takes a lot of discipline and focus of mind to go around and barking orders at people and belittling them and being a bully. A bully is not strong. A bully is a weak, and they're cowardly. So getting back to the relationship with the narcissist, or as I like to call it, a situationship, because it's really not two people relating to each other, it's just a situationship. And so you're familiar with when you bring stuff up and you've tried to work with the narcissist, you've tried to help them, you've tried so many things to make the relationship work. And just when you feel like you've had enough and you want to end it all, the narcissist comes over and feeds you a couple of breadcrumbs and says, oh, you know what, I want what you want. Or they'll future fake and go, you know what, just be patient with me. I'm changing. And so you stick around for another cycle, another year, another few years. And that's how the narcissist keeps the supply going with the lies, the belittling, then a little bit of love bombing. So you're familiar with this, and you're currently at a place where you go, you know what? I'm really reaching my boiling point. I'm really reaching the point where I have had enough. So here's another situation too where you're out in public and you're sitting there with a group of friends, you and your narcs, mutual friends, and you see how fake that person is in public, and you're sitting there in your head going, if these people only knew what they're really like, right? And of course, no one really believes that about them if you were to try to tell them because, well, you know, there's that fake persona that the narcissist puts up. And here's something else that also happens. If that narcissist didn't get enough adulation and praise in the group and feel like the special one, when you get in that car, you better believe he or she is going to let you have it and take it out on you. And most assuredly, when you get home, then, you know, everything's going to go up in smoke because that's how the narcissist rolls. They're just so out of control. There's no discipline within them at all. They're sucking supply from mutual friends. They're sucking supply from you constantly, and they're draining your battery. And you are feeling fatigued and frustrated and at your wits' end. I get it. You know, I've been reading all of the comments that come onto these videos, and they break my heart, some of them, because some of you have been in these relationships with the evil narcissist for decades, and you have gone through so many years of abuse and so much pain and suffering. But I also see in your comments how you have decided to take a stand, and you've decided to detach and get away from that evil narc and to free yourself up. And you're coming to this channel to not only get the MO of the narcissist, but to get the enlightenment from God's word. And it's only in God's word that you're truly going to get the healing, the deep down spiritual healing that you need to not only heal and recover, but to rebuild yourself, to get back on your path of truth and righteousness. And I'm going to share with you my own personal experience and story here. Over a year ago, I detached, broke off my engagement with the narcissist that I was with for 2.5 years. And, I kept seeing that cycle of abuse and kept thinking, like most of you, oh, I can help this person, if I just work with them enough and love them bigger and really give them God's word. And of course you get the bobblehead, and the future faking, oh, I want what you want, be patient, I'm changing, all those things that, and I'm sure you can add more comments down below of the things you heard from your narcissist to keep you in that hamster wheel with them. And so the last 6 months, I decided there's something wrong with this person. This is not normal. There's no reciprocity in communication and care and concern and the same amount of valuing and so forth. So I started doing my research, and I went into some heavy studying on this topic of narcissism. And also, having had decades of study in God's Word, I was able to pair the two, understanding narcissism through the biblical perspective. So the last 6 months were super eye-opening for me. It was incredible what I was learning. And so I never let on to the narcissist I was with that this is what I was doing. So I was doing my studying, and I was also doing my experimenting. And what I would do is I would give fake positives, false positives, right? So I would do the same routine as always, knowing that if I said this was going to happen. So I didn't hold back. I just kept the same pattern, and sure enough, the same response was right there from the narcissist. They become, once you have your eyes opened, they become so predictable, and you go, wow, this is absurd. How could somebody even remotely act like this? Well, I'll tell you how they can act like this. In God's Word, we get the enlightenment, as I spoke about. And these narcissists are demonically driven. That has to be on a higher realm, a spiritual realm, that these people are listening to devilish influences to be able to act in the heinous ways that they act. And in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, it says, "For our struggle or our wrestling is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this world's darkness, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." You see, this is a spiritual battle, a spiritual warfare that we're in with the narcissist. And as I was doing my evaluating and taking mental notes and watching, I came to the very clear conclusion that that was it. I was done with this situationship, and I was no longer going to be involved in this really devilish and unhealthy relationship that any of us are in if we're with a narcissist. So it was in 2019, just days before Thanksgiving, that he happened to be ghosting me at that time. And we were supposed to go to his side of the family, a big Thanksgiving celebration. We all received an email notification and what time and everything. And I called him, and of course, being that he was ghosting me, right? I left a voice message that was very, very clear, that I was breaking off this engagement, this situationship with him, and that this was going to be the end of any kind of correspondence between the two of us. And I did it in a safe place. So I want you to recognize that I did it from the safety of my home, and I called because I knew the rage that would follow and ensue if I was to do it right away in front of him. And then I changed all of my garage codes, all of the keypad codes on my doors, and I RSVP'd to that Thanksgiving email. Yeah, I did. And I explained the situation and why I would not be attending Thanksgiving. And you know what? His family were not surprised at all. They were, in fact, what they said is that we really hoped you could have helped him. You know, we really hoped that you would be the one that could really help change him. And I'm thinking, I can't change anybody. I have enough work changing my mind and renewing my mind to God's word, and, you know, being in my space in my head. It is not your job, it is not your responsibility to change anyone. It has to come from within that person. And that's where the true, real change comes from, within a man or woman's heart. So they said, Nanette, you're an extraordinary woman, and we want the best for you. You deserve somebody on the same page. And see, to this point is that the narcissist is not fooling everyone. And even people that may agree with him or her, they do so because they don't want to dirty their hands with him or her. They just kind of, they'll bobblehead the narcissist and go, oh, that's too bad. Oh, how horrible for you. So, and the most important thing, that who they are not fooling is God Almighty. God keeps the record. God sees what is happening. God sees all of this going on, rest assured. So my discarding of the narcissist caused him a huge narcissistic injury, a narcissistic insult. And it was a direct threat to his supply. So how do you think he responded? And I'm going to guess that a lot of you are going to go, when I list how he responded, you're going to go, check, yeah, that's what happened when I discarded the narcissist in my life. Or even if he or she discarded you, it doesn't matter. The point is they are still filled with these rages that I'm going to share with you. So yeah, at first it was outrage, and my phone just lit up, the texts, the phone messages, and we won't repeat what was said, but they'll do anything to guilt you, shame you into feeling guilty, threaten you, accuse you, dredge up the past, and they'll just bring all this heavy judgment and shame to you, because you know why? That's what they're feeling on the inside. That's right. They know that inside they're empty, and they experience so much shame, judgment, and guilt within themselves because they are guilty. Let's just face it. They are guilty of doing evil things to good people, to the empath, the good person, the Christian, just like you, just like me. And so what they'll do is they'll deflect it back to you and then pummel you with all of these accusations, and their rage is ridiculous. And I want you to be very careful. They will even stalk you. They'll track you down where you go grocery shopping. They'll try to harass you in public. So I want you to do everything in a safe way. Make sure you're not in the physical presence of this narcissist when you end it. And then also procure your safety within your home, within your family. Block this person on all social platforms. Block him or her from your phone, from your emails. Tell your family and friends to do the same. You know, talking about having a healthy relationship with someone, with the narcissist, because they're so devilishly influenced and they're listening to those voices in their head, you have to imagine yourself trying to have a healthy conversation sitting before the devil. No. You have to imagine yourself getting compassion from the devil. No. You have to imagine yourself being understood and validated by the devil. No. And these are the things that you see with the narcissists, that they're constantly doing this to you. And if you understand that, some of the comments are from people all around the world. When I read the comments and the same cycle of abuse, how is it possible that every one of us have gone through similar patterns of the love bombing, the devaluation, the threats, the outrage, the anger, and so on and so forth, because these are how the devil spirits work. And so we're getting that MO, we're understanding what's happening through God's word in the enlightenment of the scriptures, and you made your move. That's right, you made your move and you're out of there, because you know why? You deserve better. You deserve someone just like you. That's right. You know, and all these actions after the discard from the narcissist, that where those reactions that you're getting, this only proves, it's proof positive to you that this was a very destructive, evil person that you don't need in your life. And you're seeing that now, how dark this person is. And you don't want anything to do with that. And understanding this from Scripture, how you don't want to be around darkness, nor do you want to be partnered or teamed up with a narcissist. And it says in Ephesians chapter 5, verses 11 and 12, and have no fellowship, zero fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. For it is shameful even to speak of those things which are done by them in secret. They're dirty, dark secrets that they have done to you all those years, all those months, all those decades. That's all that they are about, and you don't want to be partnered with that. And it says further in 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14, do not be unequally yoked or teamed up with those who are unbelievers. You are a believer. You're a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ. You follow in his footsteps. You believe in God and love God with your whole heart, soul, mind, and strength. You deserve to be with somebody just like you who honors God Almighty. And it says, how can righteousness be a partner with wickedness? It can't. That's why we've had the hellish time we've had with the narcissist, because it's a battle, a spiritual battle between light and darkness. And darkness doesn't love light. Evil doesn't love good. So that's why you've been attacked for so many years. How can light live with darkness? It can't. So you have righteousness, don't be partnered with wickedness. Light, don't live with darkness. This is instruction from God's word, and it's God's word that's going to set you free. As it says in the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verse 32, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And I also want you to understand, yes, there's going to be what I call an emotional aftershock when you discard or detach, go no contact with the narcissist. And I want you to go ahead and check out this video up here where I cover the different emotions you're going to go through and how to handle them with God's word. And you know, those emotions are normal. They're natural. You know, there's a saying, you have to feel them to heal them. Understand that there's nothing wrong with that. It's a natural an emotional reaction to what you've been through. But I don't want you to stay there. I want you to get lifted up out of that and lifted up high with the love of God, the healing word, and to know what your true value and worth is in God's sight. So leave your comments down below. Share with everyone in this community, because what you share and the verses that you share as well, this helps everyone that visits this channel. And I'm so blessed with everything that you guys have been offering, and the love that you're sharing and the prayers that you're sharing as well. It is just so amazing. So I want you to go ahead and hit the like button. And also, if you haven't subscribed, do hit the subscribe button. And if you haven't hit the notification bell, do hit that as well. And until next time, walk in peace and be blessed in your hearts.